All right, beautiful ones. I am so glad to be here with all of you on this beautiful 7/7 portal. Jackie is dialing in from the UK. Aches and joints today. Still feeling peaceful though. Amazing. I feel like we're really in this vortex that is so deep. It's such a deep stillness. I actually, hand on my heart, I feel like the stillness can speak so much more than words today. But I felt compelled to just journey upon this beautiful pathless path today and really come in here and share and be with everyone, because I really feel like there's a really big stirring that's going on within all of us, where we're just really kind of like in this place where you can either be very much in that place of like, I sense this is falling away. I sense I'm questioning certain things in my life. I'm questioning certain ways that I am doing things. And then you have the ones who are also buying very much into the stories that are spinning out in their minds. So whatever it is, I really trust that this will serve you in the highest way. And please let me know if you have any questions, if you want to share anything and you want us to dive deep together. Like, this is the space where we can really go there. And hi, Christian, beautiful. I really want this to be all of us in the field together, sensing and feeling what's going on for all of us. So today, as we drop into this space, I would really invite you to come in with an open heart and allow yourself to stay. Allow yourself to stay even when it feels really uncomfortable. Because one of the things that's really coming up very powerfully today is this real sense that, when we talk about shadows, when we talk about the real shadow here, when we are doing this work, when we are here, who here is considered, you consider yourself a spiritual seeker, like you're still very much seeking. Like, what is it? Like, what is freedom? Where is freedom? How can I finally be free to be me? How can I finally land in that sacred place that is truly where I feel so free to be me, without any inhibitions, without any, limitations? Like, who here feels that way? Let me know in the comments. Raise your hands, give me a heart, whatever that is. Let me know whether you are here live or on the replay. I would love to see how many of you are actually present here as we keep going. I'm going to pour some tea for you as well. You can receive through the field as we are coming into this beautiful presence. All of us here, spiritual bodies convening through time and space. And I really want you to take that seriously, because we are. Yes. It's not something that we just put in our heads and think, oh yeah, we're sitting together. But I really want to invite you into really feeling that, like, it's not a mental concept. It's not even a feeling. It's a presence. Yeah? Okay, Christian is saying, yes, struggle with this every day. I have freedom, but still ask the question. Jackie, me. I love it. Christian, you've touched on something very, like, literally what I feel is coming up for a lot of us. We are, in so many sense of the word, free. If you are here, I trust that you have done a certain amount of work, inner work. And I have no doubt that you have created a life to a certain extent that is yours, that you can proudly claim is yours, that you have broken through some really old paradigms and really very deep struggles, I would imagine, as I feel the field. And yet there is still this sense of what is freedom? How am I even free? How can I be free? And maybe, just maybe, and let me know in the comments if this is you, you might have even gone into mentorship spaces with mentors or group programs where you have fellow colleagues, where you might come to a point after a while that you feel like, maybe this sense of freedom will come if I stopped doing this. Like, I just resent coming to the group somehow because everyone is just so like, like I feel constricted by this work now. I feel constricted. Maybe, I need to do me. Like, I need to be me to be free. And maybe, just maybe, you have, because that belief has come into your awareness, you have left that group. You have, cut short that mentorship. You have cut short that teaching even. And you continue to seek. You continue to look out for different things to find what is you. Great. And I feel like this is the point where we have to really be open to confronting the things that, if this is really the actions that you have taken in your past. I feel like today, more than ever, we really have to come to a place where we ask ourselves, like, what exactly am I running away from when I get into that place? It is a very deep sense of discomfort where the work actually begins. It is in that deep sense of discomfort where we feel like we can't, like, I don't want to stay here because it's so freaking hard. That's where the work begins. And if you are a teacher, if you are a mentor, if you are a space holder of some kind, a leader, let's be very, very real here, you also must realize that when your mentee gets into that way, that's where the real work actually begins. And I think there is a huge thing here where I feel that at least one of the biggest shadows we are all avoiding is the shadow of the unhealed self. It is the shadow of the parts of us that we don't want to see. And that's why there are so many of you that are still in this race, in this cycle, in this loophole of finding that one thing. And, we are living in a time when we have so much available to us. Pretty much everything is available to us, that it's so easy for us to say, you know what, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do myself. But what is really happening when we get into that way a lot of times is that we think we are autonomous. We think that we are free. But what we're really doing is that we are escaping into our intellect so that we don't have to really confront the deep presence within us, that God presence, that divine essence within us. And so many so many of you would often escape into one part of the story. You may think you're free when you say no, right? This is a huge thing in the social media world. When you look at social media and it's like, say no. Sometimes saying no is your path to freedom. Sometimes saying no is saying yes to your soul, like things like that, right? But what we don't realize is that is not a spontaneous response to the divinity within you. It is merely a reaction to what is going on, what is given to us from something else, someone else external to us. And what happens is we still play into the very, very old gridlock of paradigm that tells all of us that we are only worthy, that we are only free when we are independent from our mother, from our father, that we are financially independent. That's what it means to be free. But this is a paradigm. This is a very old belief. And it still does not answer why so many of us are still feeling this deep emotional desolation, this deep lack and emptiness within us. It doesn't address it at all. And so it is so important for all of us to recognize that our work is not complete if it does not include your spirituality. I'm not talking about religion. It's a separate thing. Spirituality, I mean communion with your divinity. I mean truly confronting your true presence, your essence, the one that cannot be explained away with your logical mind. I'm talking about that deep sense of freedom. That is freedom. Christian is saying here, as I am watching you, I think freedom is having some tea and just enjoying that moment with no thoughts of ambition or concern. You see, this is the thing that I actually walk with my clients through very deeply when we do this work. And it's so fun, it's so fun actually to witness clients when they first come in. And I would often tell them, I would teach them the way of tea. I would share with them so many of these beautiful teachings that tea teaches. And I would watch them go into that space of like, really? I can really just be? Like I can not practice, but just let this energy be animated within me? Yes. Yes. This is how a teaching or a holy book or a wisdom become yours. We are living in the age of Aquarius. We have information, bajillion of it, 10,000 scriptures that you can read and look at. And the real development that is being asked of us right now is to reunite your mind with God, to reunite your mind with the divinity that is who you are. You can call it your soul, you can call it the cosmic mind, you can call it source, you can call it God. But the truth is, hello Erica, the truth is, no, nothing of us is separate. We're not separate. The mind needs to come along on this beautiful ride that is life. But we have to become aware of the moments when your spiritual ego comes in and takes over the driver's seat. And you start to believe that all of the things that you're doing is actually called freedom when it's actually just a reaction to what's going on outside of you. Let us be very, very clear. Let us be very, very, very clear, my loves. It's so, so, so important especially for the torch bearers, especially for the wisdom keepers, especially for the medicine woman, the wise woman, the multidimensional woman. What you're doing, no matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter. You can be a mentor, you can be holding spaces, you can be creating art, but you have to be so clear about the moments when you subscribe to a very old paradigm while calling it New Earth paradigm. That's not how it works. That's why so many of you are still feeling very, very stuck in lack, stuck in scarcity, stuck in this realm of victimhood. Because I am telling you here, the truth is, here's the tea. The truth is, whatever you can perceive in the field, in your deepest state, is already yours. It's already running. The energy is already running in one timeline that you came to perceive in your state of stillness, when you are one with source, when you're one with the field. And then you have to act upon it. You have to see it through in this dimension so that it doesn't remain as a fantasy or a concept or a theory. This is what it means to be one. The great universal spirit. Yes, Gus. I love that. To be one with the great universal spirit. You can't be talking about practices or even teaching practices without having gone to the edge where you truly meet the centrifugal point of why we're doing all these practices. It's not about dropping into a yoga class for 15 minutes or going to another yoga class here or another meditation class there, learning breath work, getting a certificate. I got a certificate and I'm great. I went to an 8-hour session and now I came out with I'm certified sound bathing guru, whatever it is. I mean, I'm so sorry, but these things are just pandering to your ego. These things are great, don't get me wrong. You can play the game in the matrix with these certificates. You want to infiltrate the world with it? Go for it. But never ever forget, at the back of your mind, don't forget, you're just playing the game. You're just playing the game. You're here to seed the field with your light. You can't change the world if you cannot see that within yourself. It's not even about changing the world. It's about every single individual going inward, turning inward ever deeper within to have that courage to really confront yourself. And I mean your shadows, the unhealed self, the parts of you that you would rather not look at, but you would go forward and do other practices. And it's great, but it's not going to be a complete story. It's just one part of the work. And I think a lot of you are hanging in that, kind of like in that in-between space, right? Where it feels like you've done so much work. But, yes. So really the revelation of freedom, when it came through me, I was so like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And this is the moment that I can tell you that when I work with my clients, it releases me, it detaches me from the need to produce an outcome. Because I already know, I can see their highest form. But when they react, when they resist, when they argue back, when they give me a story, I don't buy into the story. And neither should you. You are solid, you are full, you are coming from a place of wholeness. You can hold immense space, limitless space. And we need more of these people. We are not going into a place of self-censorship. You're not going to go into a place where you doubt your medicine when these things come up. You know, sometimes you gotta take the poison and you have to, vomit, and you have to project it into something. And sometimes that something is you. You as the person holding that space. You raised your hand to lead, right? And if you're in that place of I want to be free, I want to be free, I want to be free, I just want to be free to be myself. I want to have the resources to do everything and anything. Then I ask you this question. What is your relationship with the everything and anything? Is your relationship kind of like the, oh my God, please give it to me. Oh, you didn't give it to me. Oh my God, I hate you. Or are you deeply, fully in a state of surrender? Knowing that everything is happening for you. No exceptions. Even in the moments when you're kicking and screaming and you're like, I hate you. Those are especially the moments that are asking you, do you trust? Do you trust that this is happening because you are made for this? And also, in my experience, I asked for it. Every time when I send out a prayer, when I say to God, to the divine, I say, I'm ready for my up level. Expand my vessel. Let me be a vessel to hold more light. Boom. I get all sorts of shadows being thrown out. Literally. And I cry, I kick, I scream, I tear my hair out. And ultimately, I am asked to go deep within me, to truly be with that singular thing that is charging up. And then it becomes more than a feeling. This divine presence that we speak about is more than a feeling. Yes, it's one of the ways to get you into that space where, people get you into a place by asking you to envision a memory or a time when you were so relaxed and so relieved. But that presence is real. That presence is working through you. But it cannot be sensed and felt if you don't want to, if you resist it. And sometimes, it comes up and you feel like, oh my God, I just need to run away. And many do. Unfortunately, many people do. So I just want to really bring that forward because it's such an important thing to start off with as we move through this portal, and more light is going to come through. More than ever, until we arrive at the Lion's Gate portal. And by the way, if you don't want to walk on your own, if you want to be together as we harness this great trajectory, this incredible energy, I have a beautiful event that is happening on the 8th of August. Early bird tickets are on sale already, so DM me and get the link through private message because I really want the people who are serious about this work to come in. So limited space, and it will only be available until I think the 19th of July. So let me know. And other than that, let's call in this whole self-censorship thing that is happening. A lot of it. Who self-censors? Who gets into this hate space? Let me know. Where you get into ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that. ooh, maybe that's going to annoy a couple of people. Maybe my aunt is reading it. Maybe my mother is reading it. So maybe I shouldn't post that. Or you get into a place where you're like, maybe that's too harsh. All of these things. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Okay. So let's talk self-censorship. More than ever, souls are awakening. Souls are coming to realize that certain things are really not feeling right. It's not sitting right. And more than ever, you are being called to share your opinions, to really speak your truth. And that is very true, right? A lot of times you're being asked to react actually to a certain thing that's happening in the current affairs. But what I want to speak to is more than speaking your truth, go live your truth. Because living your truth is the very medicine that is going to transform the field. You do not operate alone. Yes, the truth of the matter is, ultimately, there is only one of you here. But what you're seeing around you are fractals reflecting back to you what's happening in your field. So if you don't like the reality that you're in right now, rather than run away from it, which I completely get, because I came from a time growing up where I was thinking of running away from my hometown all my life. And it's always been a major pattern of mine until I realized it, where I was constantly running from one place to another, until I realized that actually I'm meant to meet myself face to face. My divinity and my human, they're meant to meet each other, no matter where I am. So it is really important for us to recognize that we want to live our truth, to really feel that fulfillment, to feel that exquisite aliveness. Because yes, you can speak your truth all day long, and yet you're still hung up on the views, on the likes, the comments, the people outside of you. And so it's very important for us to really recognize what's going on here actually. And that requires deep spiritual work. You cannot take that out of equation. This is the reason why so many spiritual healers, mystics even, the most well-meaning ones, I trust, are going into this space of AI and actually still finding themselves relying on the outside source to tell them that they are powerful, that they are needed in this world, that they are important, to feel validated, to feel free, to do what they want to do. They turn to ChatGPT and ask, can I do this, da 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 da? when really the question should be asked within, the divine within you, the soul that is you. Do you want to do it that way? Ask yourself, do you want to write it that way? Do you want to share your message in that way? What is the message? What is the way to share your message most powerfully with all your people? All your people are in the field with you. On another level, they're already connected with you. They are just coming in when they do, when it's time. The weaving of the field brings them into a physicality, but they already have connected with you on the other dimensions. You see? Let me know if you're seeing this. If I'm going to out there, if you're following me, I want to know. Otherwise, I'll just reel it in a little bit, I guess. Otherwise, we can keep going. So let me know in the comment section so that I know how you're feeling. Christian is saying, yes, that does occur occasionally. I find myself self-censoring to not offend or challenge the belief of others. Why don't you challenge the beliefs of others? Why don't you do that when, if you knew that that could literally transform their lives, would you do it? Selena is saying, I like to tear the veil at times. However, I also know how vibrational words can be, so I have to be self-censored. And so the ramifications of truth can be brutal. When I read these words, Christian, I would actually turn them back to you. Why do you fear the truth? Why do you feel the truth can be brutal? A real question. Real question. For yourself. You don't have to share it with me. But really for yourself. What do you fear of the truth? Yeah? Because if you feel that way, it's only because it feels that way for you. If you feel that way for others, it's because it feels for you the same way. You're not going to see the color yellow unless you can see the color yellow. Yes? And for Selena as well, when you say, I also know how vibrational words can be, so I have to be self-censored. Again, I sense a fear for your own brilliance, a fear for your own divine light. When your presence, which I know you know, when your presence can pierce through the veil, literally, no words is required. So when I talk about speaking the truth, when I talk about no more self-censorship, I'm not talking about going out there and going like, this is my truth. This is my truth, guys. You know, I always ask myself, what is the difference between me sitting here talking with you versus the homeless guy who's sitting on the streets and telling everyone to believe in God? I always ask myself this, and this is the truth. Before I come on live, before I share anything, I ask myself, what is the difference? What is the difference here? And this gives me, like, literally, I can pee my pants sometimes doing this. I feel like I have to live my truth first before I even go out there and tell you this. I have to live through my shadows, to live through my alchemy, before I even come out here and say to you what I'm saying to you. And Donna, truth falls on deaf ears, so I censor. Again, giving away of your power to the others. Who are the others? When there is only one of us in the field. Yes? Let me tell you this. I have had so many years of doing the work and having nobody respond to it. And I can tell you this, when I finally shifted my energy from, well, I'm not going to say anything anyway because it'll fall on deaf ears, to this is my offering at the altar of humanity. I don't know how it's going to be taken on the current of life, whether it's going to meet someone immediately or maybe 10 years time, but I am here. So this is my offering. The minute my frequency shifted, I went into a place of true devotion, and my clients, they come forth. They just come forth, and we have beautiful moments where we talk and share, and how they even come into my world, I can't even tell you, but they come. And I don't feel like I am, I need to explain like how everything works, because when you work with energy, when you work with the great mystery, it almost feels redundant to try to explain the process. Yeah. There is really no rushing the process. It really is not. And this is why I truly want to invite any of you who are feeling this, like this is the time for me to work through this, and you really feel like I would love to walk with you, I would like to explore that mentorship opportunity, you can absolutely book in for a call with me. I have a Meet Your Majesty call, very limited spots, but it's absolutely free to come in. But I do just invite you to a few criterias, really. You are a multidimensional woman, you are a mystic, you are a medicine woman, you're a spiritual woman. I work with women only at this point, and you are ready and willing to hear what's happening, what's going on in your field, and you're ready to actually invest in yourself through me. If you're not, you're very welcome to still check out some of my free stuff. It's right there on Insight Timer. It's all, there's a beautiful Unrealistic Woman channel transmission that you can definitely tap into. That's so powerful. All in link in my bio. But really, if you are seeking that sense of rapport, that sense of being held when you're moving through all of these things and coming to a place of true embodied presence, you don't want to fake it, right? You don't want to fake yourself. Like if you're sharing your work and you're teaching people not to, teaching people to be authentic, to be, the truth of who you are, which is something that people say all the time now, but you are hiding and you are not sure. And especially coming from my personal experience, I know I come into mentorships with my mentors because I want to see what is hidden from me in plain sight, because I can't see everything. And this is why we walk with mentors. This is why we have fractals in the field. We can't see everything about ourselves. This is the dimension we live in. And I'm happy to play the game. I'm happy to be connected in the field. Yes, we know we are source ultimately, but we are here in this dimension. We raised our hands. We chose to come here to be in deep union, to dance the dance of duality, to understand our shadows, to confront our deepest desires, to be profoundly intimate with our divinity through this human flesh. This is the divine who desires to live through you. The hidden treasure desires to be known, and so it created the world. So I ask of you, like, how serious are you about your path? How serious are you about returning into deep sacred union with the divine? Like, this is the real question. It's not even about censoring yourself because others are not going to listen. It's not even about censoring yourself because the truth is so brutal. Because all of these are just illusions. Why? Because it's created by the ego. It's not resonant with your being. It's not resonant with the divinity within you. And you know that. You know that. That is the truth. And I know lots of people can't hear it. But as a leader, it's also your work to speak in a way, to refine the way you speak and deliver your teachings and your words in a way where people are compelled to hear you. You're so powerful. And this comes with really deep compassion, first and foremost with yourself. It comes with first and foremost giving yourself the very best that you are willing to give yourself before you actually engage with everyone else. Because I know you. I know you hold great spaces. I know you are deeply concerned about the state of the world. I know you care. But the real first question I will ask before I even ask you any other questions is, how much do you care for yourself? How much do you care for yourself? Really, truly. You're not going to heal the world from sacrifice. You heal the world from embodying wholeness. Right? If you're feeling me, please let me know. I'm coming to the last part of today's transmission. And if you're excited for that, please let me know. I mean, I'm such a generator vibe sometimes. In human design, I'm a generator and I love responding and giving you what you're feeling, and you're activating me in return. So I would really appreciate that. That's my human speaking. See, that's my ego speaking. So, last but not least. Kathleen, welcome. Yes, here and feeling it all deeply beautiful. So, lastly, I want to talk about what really came to me was the word recapitulation. Recapitulation of your unhealed parts. I feel like a lot of us think that we can escape in some ways. That we can escape into our financial success, that we can escape into our titles, our accolades, that we can escape into our certificates. You can sense I have a thing about certificates, right? Oh, wow. Selena, you're so beautiful. You are a very lighted soul. I so appreciate you. Thank you, my love. By the way, everything I speak of, I don't even just speak of it because it's a concept or a theory. I literally have lived it. Yes, I have been in a place where I wanted to just take myself out of the group because the work was getting so uncomfortable, and I thought that autonomy was doing my own thing. And for everyone who's listening to this, I want you to know that I have been very blessed to be held by mentors who didn't buy into my story. And another thing is, these mentors do not have any inclination to place ideas into my head, to bow down to them and only them. It is a very clear field, and I know I'm very aware, I'm very blessed in that way. But I also have found, I've worked with teachers or coaches who have, complete disregard for the spiritual side of things. And they still operate on a very, very, very old paradigm and calling it new earth, calling it feminine, calling it all the names and jargons that are really popular right now. And so I'm coming from a very personal really personal passion and love for this work, because when you come in and work with me, I really want you to understand that I don't want to ever stand in the way of your light. I will stretch you. I will really make you look deeper, even though you're like, oh my God, I can't go anymore. Yes, you can. Depending on situations, I may even question your beliefs. But I would never ever control the outcome. Like, I would never ever feel like I need to be like, okay, we need to get over this right now in one session and we're done. Because this work is a quantum leap for sure, but a quantum leap or a quantum shift, as you call it, can only happen when you are really, really in a true deep state of surrender. A true deep state of surrender. And surrender in the sense of the word really means going beyond the intellect, going beyond the linear mind, and into really feeling almost a sense that the divinity in you is starting to speak or move. And there is no more fighting against it, and there's no more trying to amplify it as well. Hello. So it's a beautiful state that doesn't just exist in this liminal field that we access in meditation or in ceremony or in activation. It's actually a state that gets to be a permanent distillation and an embodied state. And you know, the interesting thing is when it becomes your normal, like, embodied state, you actually can't even name it anymore. That's the irony of this whole thing, because when you see everything as sacred, you don't say that to anyone anymore. It doesn't become singled out because it's normal now for you. You know what I mean? So when we talk about the recapitulation of the unhealed parts, I'm talking about how in every lifetime that you're coming as a soul inhabiting a human body, you have to recognize that you chose to inhabit this human body because you are here to experience life. And if you are stuck in the mental concept, like, you know, for example, you want to speak your truth, but you're actually still self-censoring, then you are not living. You're just not. You're not actually living out your truth. So what happens is, if you do not confront it in this lifetime, it will be recapitulated in the next lifetime, and the next, and the next. And if you imagine that this is happening for an individual and you multiply it in the field, this is what we call the human experience. And so humanity can only arrive at a more conscious state or a higher age if all of us, each one of us, do the work. There is no exception here. There's no AI that can do the work for you. This is real, real, real work. This is why we are all here, actually. And even if you may be met with all these things that the mind can tell you, like, oh, you can't do that. You can only do that when your children have left home, or you can only do that when you have this amount of money, or you can't do that. You can't quit your job. What would your people think about you? All of these things. They're really ego illusions. They're really just ego illusions. They're really just ego illusions. And on the other side of this spectrum, there are also people who are playing out the work unnecessarily in their lives. Like the very beginning, I spoke about how when you can really do the work in a group setting with your mentor, but you feel like, you know what? I need to leave now because it's getting uncomfortable, and you actually physically leave the group, or you physically break off an engagement, or you physically divorce someone because you feel like, oh God, love used to be so good and now love feels so hard. And you don't even want to confront your shadows. You don't want to confront your unhealed parts. Then that is very unnecessary and very, very much not needed. So what I'm saying here is that when you really are willing, when you're willing to confront what's deeply within you, as source, as the holy divinity that you are, not as a victim or like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? But like really like, okay, I'm fully here. I chose to experience this. Let's see. Detached from the timeline, detached from the outcome, because you know the work is to let the emotional waves to arrive fully at the shore. Then your life is going to quantum shift so quickly because you're literally up-leveling your energy by doing this work. And then there are those moments like last week when, you know, I was really confronted with a physical experience in my dimension here, where I was receiving, you know, ways where my loved ones treated me in a way where I was kind of like, I don't really like the way they were talking to me, but, you know, I've done a lot of work on this and I don't really feel like I need to be bothered by it. I'm not bothered. I'm not like annoyed with it, but it keeps coming up in my field. So I had to really come in and ask myself, like, wait a minute, there's a pattern here. And I really recognized that, oh my gosh, it's like such a deep conditioning of my culture that I'm here to break. And how do I break it? Not just by meditating it away, but I break it by addressing it lovingly to the person face to face. This is not the way I would like to be spoken to because it really makes me feel, really frustrated, or like I really feel like you're not happy for me, even though I know you're being sarcastic. So I would love for us to find a different way of communicating with each other, because it has subconsciously been affecting the energy I have in my business. It's subconsciously affected the way that I feel about myself. And I really don't need that. I had to say that. And so that was my journey. That was my experience. So every one of us have different lessons, quote unquote, you know? So if you're putting off something, you know what it is, then it's time. It's time to step in. And sometimes for some of you, it could be really like investing in yourself. Really. Like going to that next level, especially for the ones who are calling in a really sacred, beautiful, luxurious life. And there's nothing wrong with asking for that. The question is more like, how are you living that? How are you giving yourself that? How are you receiving that? Are you pushing it away? Are you just pushing away that desire, that transmission, and pretending that you're good, that you're settling on a mediocre life, not giving yourself the best? Right? It's a lot, right? But I needed to put this forward. And if you feel the real strong call to dissect, to analyze, like, I just want you to know, your soul knows better. Your soul knows better. Follow the lead of spirit. And when you do follow the lead of the spirit, and spirit is really leading you to coming into a closer conversation with me, again, please, I invite you to check out the Meet Your Majesty call. It's a complimentary call to get to know you, to get to know me. And let's see how the mentorship with me can really help you to accelerate, to really come into a deep, open space where this is not just something that you get high on and then you leave and then your life goes back exactly the same. It's really a profound transformation. It's really deeply rooted in longevity, in profound intimacy with your divine light. It works in an alchemical way. It's not about going back to how it was, but actually opening up a completely new field for what wants to be birthed out of you now to come through. It's really important. So you can book the call through the link in my bio, or if you have difficulty finding it, just drop me a DM. I'm happy to assist you. Okay? So opening up the field now for any questions before I wrap up. How's everyone feeling? Have I really given you such a powerful transmission that everyone is already like completely Kathleen, I get deeply inspired from all of your calls. Kathleen, invitation, I feel this, so I'm going to just share invitation to book in a call with me as well. I feel something's there. Of course, if you like to follow the lead of spirit, you're very welcome to. Anyone else, what are you feeling? Let me know. Share with me. So good to have 15 of you here. That's incredible. Incredible. We're in this beautiful portal now. I know a lot of changes are going to happen, or they're already happening. So let's do this. Let's do this. Beautiful. All right, beautiful ones. If there's no question, I am going to send out a prayer that this arrives into the spaces of those people who really need this and can hear this call. Thank you, my people. You are all incredible. I appreciate the work that you're doing in this world. I appreciate that you are truly serving humanity by really diving deeper into who you are in the core of your being. You know, not a lot of people will stay till the end. So I'm very, 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 very grateful for your presence. I have so much love for you. Thank you so much, Selena. And thank you to everyone else who's here silently watching. I feel you in the field, and as always, so much blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you.